It is 1 in the morning. There is a sensation, somewhere in the chest maybe, or the abdomen, or behind the left eye. It has probably been there before. Tonight it has your full attention, and the phone is right there. 4 taps. The first result is reasonable. The second is less reasonable. The third contains a word you were not looking for, and the fourth confirms that the word applies to you, delivered with total confidence and no credentials. 50 minutes ago, you had a twinge. Now you have a timeline. You know how this ends, because it has ended this way before. Eventually the phone goes down, not because you found certainty, but because you found exhaustion. The sensation is still there. It is louder now than when you started looking. That detail matters. Hold on to it. The first 10 essays on this channel built a map of the worrying mind, how attention renders a world, how repetition plants seeds, how relief takes out loans, how the craving for certainty asks for a document the world does not print. This is the second essay that takes the map, somewhere specific. This time, the territory is the body, the scan, the check, the search at 1 in the morning. And because the territory is the body, 1 sentence before anything else, and it will get its own full section later. Nothing in this essay is about symptoms a doctor has not seen. Keep that in your pocket. We will take it out again and read it slowly. First, the text. A living body is a noisy text. It produces sensation constantly, because that is what tissue does. Muscles twitch when they are tired and when they are not. The heart shifts rhythm with breath, with coffee, with a thought. Digestion runs loud and strange on its own schedule. Skin prickles, joints click. One side of almost everything is a little different from the other side. None of this is the body malfunctioning. This is the sound of a body running. Which means the scan always finds a sentence. Always. The question was never whether there would be something to find. There is always something to find. The question is, what attention does with what it finds. Episode 3. If you were here for it. Consciousness is not a window. It is a rendering, and attention is the renderer's budget. Point the budget at a sensation, and the sensation gets more resolution. Detail appears that was always there and never noticed. And here, the mechanism turns on itself, because attention does not only reveal, it amplifies. A sensation watched closely grows louder in the watching. Modern psychology arrived at the same place on its own. Attention paid to a bodily sensation is understood to intensify how strong it feels, and checking behaviors are understood to maintain the very preoccupation they are trying to settle. Different century, different vocabulary, same mechanism. The resemblance is not subtle. So the loop closes. Attention finds a sensation. The sensation grows louder under attention. Louder reads as alarming. Alarm demands more attention. 4 arrows, 1 circle, and no exit anywhere on it, because the exit was never on the circle. Then comes the search. Googling a symptom is rereading a paragraph and hoping it ends differently. The paragraph does not change. You change briefly and then change back. The results escalate by design. A page about symptoms has to mention the worst case, because somewhere once it was the worst case, and nobody writes a page that says, this is almost certainly the hum. So 4 taps in. You are reading about the rare thing, written in careful hedged language, that your alarm reads as confirmation. The search was supposed to narrow the possibilities. It widened them. And yet the relief is real. That has to be said, because it is the engine. Somewhere around the 3rd reassuring page, something in the chest unclenches, and for about 30 seconds, the question feels answered. Episode 8. Relief is alone, and this one carries interest. The next sensation arrives louder because the last search taught the storehouse that sensations are emergencies pending review. And Episode 9's tolerance applies here with unusual precision. The next search has to go deeper, more pages, more specific phrasing, a forum this time, to buy the same 30 seconds. Scanning is watering. Every check is a vote for more checking. You can see the shape of the thing in one common experience. A sensation checked nightly, for months, then a vacation, and by the third day, quiet. Nothing worth mentioning. Then home, the inbox, and by Thursday night, it is back. The sensation is not imaginary, but its volume knob is not located in the tissue. It is located in the load. Now, the sentence from the beginning, taken out of the pocket. This essay is not against doctors, and it is not about unexamined symptoms. A new symptom, a changed symptom, a symptom no professional has looked at, that deserves a professional, once and promptly. Making that appointment is not the loop. It is the correct action, taken and then finished. If something in your body is new or different and unexamined, the next step is not a label and a breath. It is a phone call. This channel is philosophy, not medicine, and a person with a license and your chart in front of them beats any video every time, including this one. That goes for the mind as well as the body. If the checking itself has started to feel frightening, that too is a professional's territory, not a video's. The loop this essay is about is the one that survives the all clear. The scan that resumes 2 days after the doctor said fine. The search rerun tonight on a question that was answered in an examination room last month. Episode 7's audit applies to the body without modification. Checking is a loop precisely when no new fact is possible. The doctor's answer has not changed since Tuesday. The paragraph reads the same as it did last night. When rechecking cannot produce new information, it has stopped being investigation. It is watering, performed with medical vocabulary. There is a reliable tell, and some of you will recognize it. The all clear that held for exactly 2 days, 2 days of quiet, and then the scan resumed. Not because anything changed in the body, but because nothing changed in the loop. The appointment answered the question. It could not answer the craving. The Yogacara philosophers, working in the 4th century, had names for every part of this. The twinge itself is real. Tissue hums, and no philosophy on this channel will tell you otherwise. But the twinge as verdict, the twinge that already contains the diagnosis, the waiting room, the conversation with your family, that is what they called parikalpitya, the fully imagined. Roughly, a real sensation with a constructed story, stapled to it so tightly that the seam disappears, and the story arrives feeling like it came from the body itself. Who does the stapling? They had a name for that too. Manas, the 7th consciousness, the self-referencing loop, whose full-time job is mistaking the storehouse for a self. Manas reads the body's hum, the way it reads everything, mine, about me, a threat to me. A flutter is never permitted to be a flutter. It is drafted immediately into a story about your future. And every scan deposits a seed, bija, into the storehouse, perfumed by repetition, which is why tomorrow's twinge arrives pre-labeled. You are not scanning tonight's body. You are watering tomorrow's. So, the exit is not certainty about the body. Episode 9 said it about the future in general, and it holds here without exception. That document, the world does not print, and no number of scans produces it. The exit is the one move this channel teaches, seeing the sensation instead of being the story about it. Episode 6 called it weather, present, loud perhaps, and watchable. The urge to check is the wave. It crests, it insists, and unabide. It passes. What this gives you is not a body you are certain about. It is a different address in the same body, the seat of the observer, instead of the desk of the scanner. So, tonight's practice, it is called the scanning label, and it comes with a boundary that is not optional. The label applies only to sensations that have already been reasonably examined and answered. A doctor looked, a doctor said, and the saying was recent enough to still count. New or changed symptoms are not practice material. They are appointments. If you are unsure which kind you are holding, treat it as the appointment. For the answered ones, when the urge arrives to recheck the sensation or to rerun the search, label it once, scanning. Take one breath and let the urge crest without being obeyed. That is the whole practice. If you want a second instrument, time the wave. Note when the urge starts. Note when it fades. Episode 9's move, brought home to the body. You are not arguing with the urge, not investigating the sensation, not asking why tonight of all nights. Form, not content. And if the urge wins some nights, it will. Nothing is owed. Note it. There will be another urge along shortly. There always is. Next essay. The map goes somewhere most of you have already been today. Other people's heads. The imagined audience. The replayed conversation. The comment you regret. The room that stopped thinking about you before you started. The body is a noisy text. The scan always finds a sentence. Tonight, let one sentence go unread. Seen is enough.